сполна. Властники, служники, слушают наши
Kazan's inner wall crumbled before Ivan's forces. Within the inner city, the Khan's guard awaited.
Слушайте наказ. Получим немедленно. Наше дело правое. Властники, держите ряды.
Готовность. Войны идут за орудиями. Что уничтожить орудие совершенния?
Немедленно исполню. Буду держать.
Охотей, братья! Как орудие надо что делать. Наказы исполнены будут.
Властники на брань устремляются. Наказы слушайте.
Орудия осадные готовы.
Землите войны.
Готовность полная есть. Приносим орудия. Избирайте время для выстрела. Напряг! Толкайте орудия! Победа! Избирайте время для выстрела. Город поражает! Приносим!
Наше дело напряжь к славе власть.
Уруд сделано будет! Да ощутят гнев наш! Избирайте время для выстрела! Да ощутят гнев наш! Стреляйте в цель точно! Надо что дело делайте!
Властники слушают. Повинуюсь с честь.
Как орудия осадные готовы да ощутят!
Оружие дать. Напряжь к славе властники. Наказы новые суд. Буду радоваться с вами сражаться. Властники слушают. Что уничтожите меня.
With a mighty war cry, the Khan's elite guards set upon Ivan's forces. Ivan and the Rus overwhelmed the Khan's guard and seized the city of Kazan. For the first time, Muscovy began to push its borders eastwards, setting its ambitions on claiming ever more distant territories for the Russian Empire. Ivan IV, had broken through the walls of the ancient city of Kazan, and his army flooded the streets. They hunted down its defenders and their allies, and brutally sacked the city. Kazan had fallen to the unstoppable military might and strategic innovation of the Muscovite war machine. In the years that followed, Ivan IV waged war after war to bring vast new territories under Moscow's rule. By 1547, he had declared himself the first Tsar of all Russia. And his never-ending fight for territory set the course for those who ruled after him. Moscow was no longer a small fort on the banks of the Moskva River. It had survived centuries of Mongol oppression and wars with its neighbors. Its evolution from fort to city to state and to empire would continue. Moscow's rise transformed Russia into one of the world's greatest superpowers. Streltsy is the Russian word for shooters. And from the late 15th century, the armies of Moscow had included regular troops, armed with an arquebus, a standard firearm in all European armies at the time.
This is an arquebus. It's an early type of musket. To load it, you put a charge of black powder down the barrel. The ammunition is a lead ball.
A paper wad seals the charge.
Then both ball and wad are rammed home tight.
To shoot the gun, priming powder is placed in the pan.
The priming is lit by a match. Now, a match was originally a length of cord soaked in saltpeter, so that it burns slowly but continuously, and even in poor weather.
When lit, this sends a flame through a small hole at the base of the barrel, which lights the main charge. One of the great advantages of the arquebus was that the ammunition was inexpensive and easy to make. Molten lead was poured into a special mold. It cooled to a solid state in seconds, making it possible for vast quantities of lead balls to be produced. They were finished by trimming off the excess lead, which was known as a sprue. Streltsy received regular payment of both money and bread, and they lived with their families in purpose-built settlements called slobody. Streltsy were a new type of army, ordinary troops recruited from tradespeople and farm workers.
An early arquebus had an extremely heavy barrel.
To shoot it with accuracy, the gun had to be steadied, and Streltsy had a unique solution.
This is a type of axe called a bardiche, and for the Streltsy, it doubled as a gun rest.
Arquebus men were usually vulnerable to cavalry.
Even with experience, reloading takes time. And cavalry covers ground very speedily. Once you've shot, your position becomes perilous very, very quickly. However, with the scything power of a bardiche, a Streltsy has at least the chance to withstand a cavalry onslaught. It took a brave cavalryman to ride into a hail of bullets, but an even braver one to face the horror of these axes.
Over time, Moscow's armies recruited more and more men armed with guns. Inexpensive troops who changed the way war was waged.